Hi there. So today I want to make a video about alchemy. Alchemy, something I think a lot of people don't really understand. It's not like chemistry. Alchemy is what came before chemistry in the Middle Ages, but no, I think alchemy goes way before chemistry. Like alchemy, famous alchemists, or a lot of people I've been noticing in certain circles, like other cultists or just online people don't know really what alchemy is. They just zoom on with that really old, obsolete thing that was trying to turn lead into gold, and that was a part of it, I'll admit, but, so everyone says, oh, it's just so complex and I can't wrap my head around it. It's like, there's too many sigils and ciphers and elements and things, different properties of the elements and different formulas for you gotta heat the mercury to make the red crystals and whatever, you gotta powderize the whatever and add this much air and you gotta change with it and I can't handle that, blah blah. Well, I think you're just overthinking it. Okay, alchemy is not as esoteric, I guess, as people think. I mean, a lot of people are just alchemists without even knowing it. Like, J.K. Rowling, when she wrote the Harry Potter series, that was all based on alchemy. You know, where, that Harry Potter, starts with a really crappy life, with his abusive aunt and uncle living under the floorboards, and, a life where, probably the last thing anyone would want. And then he goes on this journey using magic and stuff, or at least things other people think are magic. Like, I think that's what magic really is, when the practitioner understands it, but the audience is like, it must be magic, or that's actually the definition of a wizard. Like, have you ever heard that song, Pinball Wizard? It's like, Pinball Wizard. It's just saying, it's not like he's using actual, the Force like they do in Star Wars on the pinball machine, but it just means that he is so skilled at pinball, he's practiced so much that he's at such a high level above everyone else that is playing that game, I guess, that the other people think it must be magic, or so they don't really understand it. They think this guy's too good, he must be cheating or something. So yeah, I guess that's kind of what Harry did when he went on that magical journey and transformed his life from that very undesirable state to a very desirable state at the end. I think that's all alchemy is, really. It's transforming something from an undesirable state to a desirable state. There are a lot of different types of alchemy. It can be just transformation of anything, like poverty to wealth, weakness to strength, bureaucracy into democracy, so things like that, or a really bad storyline into a good storyline. Like all artists, all painters, or alchemists, they start with something that's just a blank canvas or a blank page or whatever, something you really wouldn't spend much time looking at. And then they do all this stuff and they follow a process to turn it into something you can't really keep your eyes off of. Or in the Middle Ages, before they had TV, like, people would just stare at paintings on the wall. But, so, what I want to say about alchemy today, how everyone's overthinking it. They're going like, oh, there's the dragons, and you gotta release the dragon, and you gotta hold still long enough for it to think you're playing dead, and, you need to see everything through the imagination and imagine, like, God's dreams of whatever, and yeah, and work with the elements, and you gotta meditate a lot, and blah blah. Well, you people are just overthinking it. Alchemy is it's really not that hard. I'll just say that alchemy is, well, one, Eastern alchemy is, I think, a lot easier to grasp, or easier to start with, like, yoga is a type of alchemy. And they talk about the kundalini of the spine, and awakening the kundalini to get from a, like, basic state to a more evolved state. So yoga's alchemy, transforming yourself, and all psychologists know a lot about alchemy, or at least subconsciously, like, I think that's what psychology is. It's kind of trying to perfect the personality. I mean, that's kind of what alchemy is about, perfection of a base state. Like, the thing about turning lead into gold was more of a metaphor for, like, I mean, there were some alchemists that talked about how, like, they imagined metals are made from combinations of sulfur and mercury in the bowels of the earth, and you just gotta balance the sulfur and mercury levels to turn any metal into gold. And I guess there's a lot more to it than that, but so the way the alchemists worked, the reason it didn't, I guess it's not as popular as it was at one point, or if more people knew what it was, I think it'd be a lot more popular, but, well, a lot of people do it subconsciously, like, they don't know that they're transforming someone, like I said, that Harry Potter kid, or, painting, or origami. I think origami is a type of alchemy. It's just taking all these raw materials or a piece of paper or something commonplace that you wouldn't put too much attention into, then turning it into something artistic, something creative, and all of a sudden you pay a lot of attention to it. It's magic. Some thing about alchemists is, I mean, they do talk in a really, like, airy language, like, they do talk about, like, seeing things through the dreams of God, and, the dragons, and blah, blah. I mean, it is complicated. The way they talk is very, I guess, archaic, sort of. Or, yeah, the way they talk is just different, very different, but, so, like, now what I want to make was, like, there was an alchemist, like, his name was Jabir, lived during the, like, Renaissance era, Alexander, Alexander the Great era around then. So he wrote a lot of books on alchemy. I mean, there are a lot of books on it, a lot of reading. And, so yeah, the common people couldn't understand it. Like, that's something alchemists strive for, to be so complicated in their speech. The way they, like, make recipes and instructions. They want to be so complex that the common person couldn't understand it. Like, you would need to really dedicate yourself to even try to comprehend it. So, yeah, there was that Jabir guy, and, yeah, he wrote really weird stuff, and that's where the word gibberish comes from. Gibberish, because no one could understand him. So, the thing about alchemists were, a lot of people don't realize, Isaac Newton, the guy who discovered gravity and was really famous for, like, the tides and stuff, Isaac Newton was an alchemist. He'd spend, like, whole nights working on, like, mercury and stuff, and he's actually really famous for the discovery of a certain, like, metal rock formation thing called antimony. So Isaac Newton was an alchemist, and I think Galileo was, maybe not. Probably a lot of the early astronomers were. Plato was a alchemist. Socrates was. Aristotle. Pythagoras was. So yeah, alchemy very kind of kept secret for a long time, but like closely guarded secrets. But now I think we need more alchemy in society. Transformation of all this space stuff into higher stuff, like in yoga, where he said, I guess the Hindus kind of thought you start at Muladhara, the first chakra, the one I have on my wall, the red one. That's the one at the very base of the spine. And as you activate that Kundalini energy, like, travels up the spine and gets to the head, and I only have up to Anahata right now, because, it's like, I think the rest of them have, like, something like 100 lotus petals or 1,000 lotus petals, and, I can't craft something with more than, like, 10 lotus petals. So, yeah, the yoga, they wanted to get from Muladhara to, a higher state of consciousness, called Sahasrara, or, that's the 7th chakra, I believe. So, yeah, the chakras are just different levels of consciousness, kind of. So, yoga's alchemy, so it's Tai Chi, Qigong, things I really like. Tai Chi, Qigong, probably other martial arts. So, yeah, everyone thinks it's so complex, but you're just overthinking it. You don't need to do all the things that they say do in this book. You don't need to keep working with the mercury and meditate all the time. And, you don't need to buy sulfur and mercury and buy all this weird crucible machinery for, like, heating, and you don't need to make elixirs and stuff. And I say that's gonna help. Like, I think everyone should meditate. I mean, meditation's really good, but So again, the simplest term is it's just transforming something from an undesirable state to a desirable state. So a lot of people do alchemy as like they transform their life state. They try to like go places or like change their scenery, I guess. Or when they talk about the dragon and how the first phase of alchemy and the black phase, you gotta face your dragon. That's just acknowledging that you are kind of out of, like they say, the first step to solving your problem is admitting that you have a problem. So it's realizing that you have a dragon living within you, or like it's supposed to be your shadow self, or like your subconscious desires, or your ego, or whatever. So like in Kabbalah, another type of alchemy, I want to say in Kabbalah, like the first step, the first rung on the ladder of Kabbalah in the Tree of Life is called its sovereignty. So first you gotta have sovereignty, and okay, for any idiots out there who don't know what sovereignty is, it's just being able to make your own choices without taking like outside influence, or like, yeah, sovereignty, something pretty much any constitutional monarch, any constitutional republic, or no, any country with a constitution, they have sovereignty. Like sovereignty is to have a constitution, to make a personal constitution, you gotta have sovereignty in there. Sovereignty, being able to govern yourself without, yeah, I think in Kabbalah, when they talk about personal sovereignty, that you gotta get sovereignty before you can do all the other stuff. You mean that you gotta get rid of all that crap, all that baggage you're carrying around from the from like what society tells you, or how your subconscious influences you, or how like lack of self-control. You gotta get rid of all of that stuff, all that baggage, and work with the shadow self. And so that's the process of taming your dragon, I think. Which I think goes into the white phase. But so there are a lot of different types of alchemy. I mean, there is the one with the metals that some people do that, but most people usually when they do alchemy, they're talking about either mental alchemy, spiritual alchemy, alchemy of the soul, or just transforming your life. Like something alchemists when I talk about is a touchstone to like represent that. They talk about the philosopher's stone to like show yourself that you've completed the great work or whatever. Well, I think, yeah, they're just using metaphors. Like the alchemists love metaphors, or at least they use them to keep their secrets. But I think the philosopher's stone is really just something like I know actors, when people want to become an actor and they work really hard at like trying to be in movies and stuff and get famous. Like once an actor or a singer or songwriter or musician wins like an Oscar or whatever award, prize, trophy, that's their touchstone, or their philosopher's stone. Because it's like a souvenir, how they can just pick it up and it reminds them of all this, how successful they were, or that they've made it, that You know, I bet a lot of YouTubers, like, I guess they could be called alchemists. Like, first they started at a state where they aren't very well known or whatever, but, you know, they keep making videos and stuff, and, like, after a month or a couple months or whatever, they eventually end up where you have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, hundreds of thousands of followers. So, didn't they succeed at something? Didn't they transform their lives? Or, you know, I think that's their touchstone, their philosopher's stone, where they realize, I have all these subscribers, I have all these people watching me and make comments, and I can read all their comments and command them to use them as like an army to defend me in whatever internet battles. And yeah. So, yeah, people like to overthink alchemy. Like the Taoist form of alchemy, the Tai Chi I was talking about, or following the Tao, is definitely probably the more simplified version of alchemy. Like, it's, you know, I think Eastern alchemy is so much easier because it's more physical, or like it's easier to grasp. Like, it's not as mental, where like my Tai Chi instructor says a lot of times, thing about Tai Chi, it's more about feeling, and Qigong, like, or yoga or anything really. It's more about feeling it instead of like thinking through it. Like I remember I had a dream once where this martial arts guy told me martial arts have to be observed, not learned, which is kind of true. It can be learned, but I mean, obviously when the Chinese or the Asians were first making it, they were mostly observing nature. And yeah, they use their intuition, like, when alchemists talk about, like, seeing through the imagination of the dreams of God or whatever, or imagining the dreams of God, just about following your intuition. Or, yeah, I think in ancient India, under the caste system, like, they always followed their intuition. You never want to try to think your way through something. Always follow intuition, which is just kind of letting yourself, your impulses guide you, instead of, I mean, there's a time and place for logic and trying to think things through, but I mean, intuition is a lot more powerful. Like, just earlier today, I was listening to a podcast about, like, how not to struggle. It's called How Not to Struggle, and it was talking about how, like, in Western society, we're taught, like, no pain, no gain, or you don't put in any work, you won't get any work out, or we're taught the more effort you put into something, the more work you'll get out, and that might be true sometimes, but it's really, no, I mean, when you just, like, relax into it, it's like, things just work so much better. Like, I think a lot of, the internal artists in the East, the alchemists of the East, talk about how, like, the fewer kinks in the hose, the better the water flows. So, just get rid of any anxiety about your next move, or any worry or doubt. just go with your feelings, your intuition, and then it'll just like flow. The movement will make itself pretty much. Like in Taoism, how Lao Tzu would talk about if you follow the Tao like every day and get rid of something every day, let go of something within yourself, eventually you'll get to a point where you do nothing and nothing is left undone. Or how, like, Lao Tzu would talk about doing by not doing, or action by non-action. So, yeah, things just flow a lot more when you, again, my Tai Chi instructor says, like, fewer kinks in the hose, the better the water flows. So, like, just don't stress out about everything, or don't try too hard. Like, yeah, don't try too hard. Get rid of any anxiety or doubt or worry, fear about your next move. Because things will just flow so much better. Like, that podcast said how not to struggle. Also said how, like, there's no Chinese story about these monks see a, like, naked man floating in a violent river and blah. And they think he's dead, so they're horrified. Then he, like, gets up out of the river and they realize he's not dead, and they're like, how do you survive? And the guy says, oh, it was easy. Just go up when the water goes up and go down when the water goes down. So yeah, like, going with the flow. People say, I go with the flow. Because it's more like that. I mean, you still want to realize that sometimes people are going to take things too far, and just, you can't always let things happen. I mean, it's good to always follow intuition and be passive, but, like, yeah, a lot of times the flow, or what I don't know, mainstream media is telling you, or what society is going with, or what the majority of people are going with, isn't always what's right for you, or, like, it's not what's right. Because, I mean, when the majority of people are doing things, like my brother says, be normal. There's a majority of people do, because the majority of people are stupid. It's like life's like a triangle. And as you ascend in, I don't know, consciousness, or up the alchemical ladder, or as you ascend in whatever, your advancement in whatever skill or whatever, there'll be less and less people. Like there are tiers. Like, when I started yoga, I knew there are gonna be tiers. Like, there are different types of yoga. Like, probably at the bottom where most people are is just hatha, which is like the most gentle, easy, basic yoga. Hatha. And I don't really like hatha because of that. So, like, I think, well, there's like vinyasa and Bikram and Kundalini. Yeah, Kundalini is like the most active yoga, so yeah, there are tiers, where there's a bottom tier that has the most people, then top tier has less, and ones above that, less and less and less, until you get to, you know, where there are only a few individuals who practice this thing. That's why, you know you're becoming your greatest version or whatever when you start hanging out with, going to classes or whatever with, or judo, practicing all these things that are known by very few people. Like, that's what esotericism is, or what archaism is, like. Yeah, it's what the state of kind of understanding the practice of something that very few people understand. Like they call alchemy really complex, but I think, no, it's just esoteric. Like, not everyone. Most people overthink it. See, like, that was kind of alchemy when I put that flag on my wall. Like, yeah, you think it's gotta be this big elaborate thing with the chemicals and heating and blah blah, and that's part of it, but no, I mean, like, a good start to alchemy is just like the art part, artistry, kind of decorating, or like, yeah, so we took those pieces of paper that by themselves are just pieces of paper, and then I turned them into, that. And that actually means something, because that's the, a lot of people don't know. Aboriginal Australia, the Aboriginals of Australia, actually have their own flag because they consider themselves like a separate country from white Australia. Like, the flag of Australia is mostly based on the British flag, but obviously Aboriginals, they aren't British, so, Aboriginal Australians, that's the Aboriginal flag. Red for the red dirt of Australia in the outback, sun for, the really, really hot sun in Australia, and black for their black skin. So, yeah, I'm an alchemist, guys. I'll admit too. When I told my dad, he laughed at me. Said he wanted to see if I could really make gold from lead, and no, I mean, that's not real alchemy. Real alchemists don't do that. It's a metaphor. Like, in my Tai Chi class, we have the 5-season Qigong, or it's not 5-season, but it's based on like the five fingers, how the number 5 repeats itself in life a lot. Like, 5 elements, 5 digits on each limb, 5 limbs. So, like, I think the pinky represents, he said it was spring posture, and so that's green for liver and east. And that's not. And that summer red south, reds. Summer reds. Oh, and heart. Fall posture, then white, lungs. No, this one's east, this one's west, I believe. And so finally, winter posture, black, kidneys, north. And the last one, what you get to the very end, is gold. Like, represented by the sun. Like, the alchemists loved the sun. They thought the sun was, the source of all life. Because it kind of is. Like, if it wasn't for the sun, we couldn't be here, and now the animals would be here, and the plants would be here. So I love the sun. So the very last step in that Tai Chi practice is you envision the color gold. And that's for, I think, like, overall health. But, like, besides for spleen, but, so a lot of times gold is again, it's a metaphor, it's not like actual gold, but, You know, when people say, like, you're golden, it's just saying that it's top quality. So it's like the best form of whatever you're transforming. So yeah, you end with gold, and so the alchemists would talk about the planetary spheres. How Saturn's lead, and anything it's Jupiter is tin, and Venus copper, Mars iron, Mercury quicksilver or mercury, the moon silver, and finally you get to the sun, gold. So gold standard. Then you go back to the bottom of the ladder again, and you do Saturn again and start over again and blah blah. So yeah, if you want to get into it, do your research. Now if you want to know about these things, like, you can't just judge a mother, shadows. Like, I think you gotta realize that there's more to the story than just what you read on the internet. Like, definition of alchemy is like medieval predecessor to chemistry that dealt with transforming lead into gold. So keep that in mind. Oh, and so before you do anything, I want to say that thing about that dragon I talk about represents what alchemists refer to as dross. Dross, Dross. So just get rid of all that crap, that baggage, leftover debris of whatever. So that's the dross within you, the stuff that you don't need. That's like weighing you down. So yeah, get rid of that and you'll ascend. So just keep in mind, do your research. Namaste, and goodbye and good luck.